These are just some of the basic things you'll need. The parts, of course, a tweezer, some picks. I used a headlamp, your bamboo hex wrenches, some more picks, and the extra screws. Hi everybody, welcome to Edge 3D and thanks for watching. Today we're going to replace the A1 filament sensor cable. This video is hopefully going to help you from making some of the mistakes that I made, or just in general help you get an idea of what you're about to do. You're about to rip a really expensive machine apart that you've been using for hours and hours, and you're hopefully not going to break it. You won't break it. If I didn't break mine, you won't break yours. I am one of the most clumsy people out there. We're going to use the Bambu wiki for this project. Make sure you follow along with that. That will clear up anything I'm not able to explain or I miss. I'm going to start by prying off the back cover there. Also make sure your machine's completely unplugged. I like to wear the gloves. It helps me prevent myself from getting my sweaty hands on everything. We're going to start by taking the 4 screws out of the USB hub there. If you guys find this video helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, visit my website. It does help support the channel. Use any of my links. Bambu recommended I do this because for some reason the machine keeps thinking the filament is tangled on the AMS and keeps unloading and loading itself, but it's not. So the problem goes away when I turn off filament tangle detection. So Bambu is recommending I try doing this to see if it fixes it. Try to only pick at it piece by piece. If you My hands are really big, so I'm kind of afraid to use my hands and fingers to pull them off. But once you get it mostly coming out, you can go in there and just generally just pull it off with your fingers. Yeah, you'll see me go in there and eventually just wiggle it out with my fingers here. Oh, took out the pick. Look at this guy struggle. Yep, that was enough of that. Keep in mind, this is harder for me because I got the camera in the way. Got my giant monkey hands in the way. And yeah, I could already tell it was halfway kind of out, so I just went in there and did the rest with my fingers. Got the eddy sensors next. Now when I put these on, after I did the hot end replacement there, I didn't route them right, I think. I kind of stuck them underneath of it. I'm going to fix that here in a minute when I put it all back together. Just take your time on this. I've cut this down quite a bit, so you're not seeing how long it really took. I took breaks in between there. If you get frustrated, take a break. Screws are really small. Take it slow. Personally, I go in there and pop that little pin down on the ribbon cable. They tell you to do it after you've pulled out the board, but I just did it right there because it was easy. Yeah, man, it's just gonna probably pop out as I go here. Oh, oh, there it is. I don't even think I need to replace this, but Bambu told me to try and fix my filament tangle detection problem. Still haven't got a reply back from them because, yeah, you'll see at the end here. I'll tell you. gonna start removing the 401 buffer sensor. There's 2 screws here. When you take this out, the ribbon cable is gonna come with it. And the wiki is going to tell you to kind of inspect this part as well. Take note of how the ribbon cable is laid so you don't confuse yourself later. It's pretty straightforward though. There's a magnet in here we're going to inspect. I also shot some compressed air through it to kind of clean out any debris that might be in there. There is some adhesive on the ribbon cable that kind of holds it in place. I don't know. On the left side there of the buffer is where that magnet's located. I'm trying to focus in on it. I didn't see anything in there. I saw a little bit, but I just kind of plucked it out with the tweezers. There's like a little bit of fuzz, maybe from filament over time, kind of like the webbing. But yeah, I kind of plucked that out with the tweezers and then gave it a good shot with compressed air. Compressed air gun died. It is like 3 years old. I think I gotta get a new one. It just doesn't hold a charge very well anymore. So after you've got it mounted with the screws, there's that little bit of adhesive tape you're going to take off. Don't tighten them all the way down one by one. Do a little at a time on each side until they're in. You don't want to over tighten it either. I kind of lined up the ribbon cable. There's a little groove there. I did that ahead of time before I pulled the tape off. Yeah, I kind of line it up in that groove, get a good push on it. Personally, I kept the gloves on because I didn't want my oils from my skin to get on the adhesive and ruin that, or on the board or anything like that. Take note of the placement of the ribbon cable. You want to make sure it is not going to interfere with the USB cable when you put it back in. I'll show you guys that in a little bit, excuse me. Just gotta put these two screws back in on the buffer. Then we can move on to putting the cable back in the board. Make sure you get that clip pushed back in. And the wiki tells you to feed that other pin in around the cable like that. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just the way it lays in there. Keeps the cable flat. Make sure the eddy sensor wires are not stuck behind the board when you put it back in. Mine for sure were. And as you can see, that ribbon cable is completely in the way of where the USB is going to go back in. Later on, I have to undo it and basically adjust the cable there. I'll show you guys that too, so it doesn't happen to you. I'm telling you now, so you have time to adjust it. Got the 3 screws for the circuit board here. Make sure you don't over tighten them either. I struggle with this screw so much. I think it's because I'm left-handed. bad. Huh. If you struggle here, don't feel bad.
Damn it.
I think I've dropped it 6 times.
Thank you.
These damn eddy sensor wires were so frustrating for me. Just gonna push all the connectors back in, and then we'll insert the USB back in. As you can see, I've still left the ribbon cable in the way of where the USB cable is going to plug in. Oh, this poor fool. Doesn't even know. It was at this point I knew I messed up. And I was so frustrated. Oh, you saw that sign there. I'm gonna show you in a minute here what happened. Make sure that's pushed over to the left. As you saw earlier, mine was way over in the middle. Oh, almost there. And that's where it was. That's obviously not good. So make sure you keep that in mind. And we're just gonna put the 4 screws back into the USB cable here. Make sure you do not over tighten it, and make sure you got that groove lined up. I would also recommend, while you got all those PTFE tubes pulled out, that you Give the nozzle buffer there a good spray with compressed air. And essentially, once you've got all those back in, you're going to turn your machine on. You're going to take a piece of filament and push it through one of the 4 spots there and see, while you're viewing the spool in your little screen, if the green dot appears to show that your filament sensor is working. Mine does. However, my filament tangle sensor detection or something still doesn't work right. It must be in the AMS light, because now I've replaced the filament sensor and my issue still persists. It goes away if I turn that tangle detection off. Works like nothing's wrong. Luckily, my spools don't tangle up as much as they used to. That used to be a big problem for me. It seems it might be a manufacturer thing as well, depending on how much the spools get bumped around too, you know. Um, and I just want to thank you guys all for watching. If this video helped you out, please like, comment, subscribe. Use any of my links in the description. They all do help support the channel. I do this in my free time while working a full-time job. I muted the compressed air for you. You're welcome. Again, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.